Good evening, South Tama Trojan fans. Welcome to another night of volleyball here on Trojan Country. I'm Darvin Graham. I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Hunter White. Hunter, how are you this evening?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you, Darvin?
Great. Glad to be here. We're over in Benton Community tonight. Reminder for our Trojan Country fans, tonight's broadcast will be an audio-only format. So if you're seeing just the fixed image on your screen, that's just because we're not able to broadcast in video this evening. So it's going to be a radio broadcast, and we're excited to kind of bring you this regular season finale for the South Tama County Trojans. South Tama on a little bit of a skid coming in off of a really exciting win a couple weeks ago against Williamsburg. They were last in action on Saturday of this past week over at the Union Knights Invitational in LaPorte City. And in WaMaC action, we're last in action on Tuesday of last week against Benton Shellsburg. The Trojans managed to get a set away from the Benton Shellsburg Vikings, but ended up losing in that one 3-1. So if you're kind of wondering where we are right now, we just got the conclusion of the JV match here at Benton Community. The varsity teams have yet to warm up. And so we're about, I'd say, 20 minutes away from first serve of this varsity match. South Tama kind of looking for their second WaMaC win of the season. We mentioned they got their first one against Williamsburg, kind of midway into the season. Tonight they get the Benton Bobcats. And Benton coming in 9-19 overall. They're 3-1 in WaMaC Conference action. They've got dual victories against Grinnell and Benton Shellsburg and Williamsburg. That's their three. Their loss came against the top-ranked Clear Creek Amana Clippers. Pretty much everybody and their dog has been falling to the Clippers this season as they're kind of really cruising through that Class 4A ranking right now and look strong headed into postseason play here. Just getting into the month of October, and just like that, next week's going to be conference tournament time for the Trojans. This is going to be their last volleyball action until the conference meet next Thursday over in Marion. And so we're kind of excited to just be with the Trojans one more time. We hope that they got one more opportunity to get a second WaMaC win, and I think that's really something that this team, these seniors, their coaches have had kind of circled as a big goal. We've seen them competitive in several different situations. They get that set away from Benton Shellsburg. They kind of were down in that one, unable to make a full comeback, but we'll see if they can kind of make it happen here tonight against Benton Community. And the Bobcats, you know, they come in under 500. However, that WaMaC Conference, a pretty tough schedule, and I think some of those losses are quote-unquote quality losses, if you want to use that term. Maybe not the most helpful all the time, but their wins this season have come against Midland, Alburnett, South Tama. Earlier in the season, they saw each other in tournament play in a Saturday tournament at BCLUW, and the Bobcats swept South Tama 2-0 in that one. They got a win over a ranked Wapsie Valley team from Class 1A, 2-1. And then Williamsburg, Grinnell, Benton Shellsburg, we said, East Marshall, and Burlington. So those are the wins for this Benton Community Bobcats team.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this, sort of kind of like the pedigree that Benton has, they're tough matches, no matter how you split it in any class. So it is kind of unfortunate seeing both South Tama and Benton under 500, but the losses, like you mentioned earlier, Darvin, they're quality. They're against tougher schools, maybe against higher opponents, either in 4A or actually ranked. So what I'm seeing here is, even though South Tama did fall 2-0 to Benton, there's a lot that can either go for either team tonight, and since it's the last game of the regular season,
who's ready for tonight?
Yeah, exactly. Just who is going to come out? It's the last match before the WaMaC tournament next week, and if you can get that win under your belt, going into the the WaMaC tournament, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, big momentum shift there. And to your point, Hunter, kind of looking at Benton Community's next matchup, they are in action this Saturday. So South Tama not playing, or at least that, if I'm to believe the schedule correctly, the Trojans not scheduled to play this Saturday. The Bobcats, however, they're going up to a center point Urbana tournament, and the competition at that tournament. Now South Tama's had their own higher level competition tournaments as well. But you think of the level of teams here, they're taking on Assumption Catholic from Davenport, Cedar Falls, that's a 5A team, Clinton, that's a 5A team, and Waterloo West, that's a 4A, 5A team right there, as well as CPU, Columbus Catholic, and Solon from the WaMaC. So, they continue to kind of put themselves in higher level competition, and they should be along, with the other WaMaC schools, Vinton, Shellsburg, and Williamsburg. I think, they were down a little bit in the middle of the season, but I think they could be competitive in the postseason as well. So we'll see who kind of wants it more here a little bit tonight. South Tama has an opportunity and certainly have experienced players. I think they've been pretty lucky, knock on wood, as far as health and injuries go. And we've seen most of these girls play out the bulk of the season, which, thinking about a football season, completely different sports, but even basketball, you see injuries kind of come into the mix and have a role. So, so far, South Tama has been pretty fortunate in that way.
Oh, for sure. Because, I mean, just kind of looking at this, kind of like talking about the Benton tournament that they're going to have on Saturday, they're going to have a lot less of a rest time than, say, South Tama and the other schools.
True.
But they are playing at a higher level, so it's those things to kind of hit on your point earlier. It's going to prepare them well for the WaMaC, but they're going to have less rest. So it's going to just make things more competitive come Tuesday. But I also agree with the fact that, our girls have been healthy throughout the whole entire year, where as opposed to our football team, it's plagued and it's materially affected the game, where here you can kind of see a positive incline in skills improving on the girls, because they've had that core team. They've had that core setter, hitters, defensive players. So it's really telling, how tough these girls are, and just how, their ability to grow throughout the season. So I'm fully expecting to see that come out tonight.
We'd like to say thank you to our sponsors who are put us on the air this fall season. They include Birkwood Village of Tama, Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, S&S Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Coverings, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark West and Hoyer Law Office, Assured Partners Insurance, Appraisal and Realty Services, Sharn Webbers, and TFD Photo and Film. All of our Trojan Country broadcasts are also made possible by the Charlie Townsley Memorial. We're going to take a quick break. While we're gone, we're going to play our interview with one of our senior South Tama volleyball players, Kaylee Keene. And when we get back, we'll kind of break down this matchup a little further between South Tama and Benton Community, get you your starters, and be underway for first serve of this varsity matchup. Thanks for being with us. We're getting to know another one of the seniors here on the varsity volleyball team with South Tama. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, tell us your name, your grade, and what position you play for the Trojans.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Keene. I'm a senior this year, and I'm a middle hitter.
How long have you been playing volleyball?
Since 8th grade.
8th grade. And how long have you been at that hitter position? Has that been a long time for you?
I started hitting my freshman year. Otherwise, I was a setter those 2 years.
Yeah. Have you enjoyed kind of that position compared to any of the backline positions? What do you enjoy about it?
The option, the like sense of you're important.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Really want to touch on real quick. We just had a very exciting game for you guys against Williamsburg. You kind of come back in 5 sets and win a pretty exciting one. What were your thoughts going through that whole thing and after you guys won?
I went into it, or like us as a team, is like they looked like a beatable team. Their offense was iffy.
Yeah.
When we went into the first set, it was really easy. Second set was okay, but we struggle sometimes. Third set, Macy got injured, so it kind of put us in a shamble.
Yeah.
And then we came back. It was a in and out situation. We had to play our A game, and I think in the end we did. We came together as a team.
Nice, nice. What do you feel like kind of allowed you guys, or what was going through your head maybe as Macy goes down and you guys have to find a way to kind of rally despite being down a couple sets?
I honestly thought once Macy went out, like it was game over. Like we threw Paisley in. She's not a middle hitter. She made the best of it. But once we came back and we won those last 2 sets, like it was a relief because that was our first WaMaC win, and just to know that happened and we came back from it was a good feeling.
Yeah. Introduce your family for us. Who do you have at home? Who are they? And what have they meant to your career as a South Tama Trojan athlete?
My biggest supporter is my Nana. My parents can't come to a lot, so she's there a lot of the times, and just having someone there supporting you no matter what helps. My dad's John Keene. He comes to what he can. He's one of my big supporters. He put me through a lot. He helped me with AAU. So did my mom, Cassie, and she makes them to the games when she can. Those are my biggest supporters right now.
How about any pets? Do you have any pets at home?
Yeah, I have a lot.
A lot. Well, tell us about them.
I have a Bichon named Stefan, a mini poodle Chance. We have a Labrador at my mom's, Stafford, and then a couple cats.
All right. Talk about your coaches a little bit. What role do your coaches as a group kind of play for you? Any memories that you have of them, or how do they kind of support you?
Rowie and Chima have been like a really big supporter, like pushing me. I'm a very overthinker and I don't think I can do it. And they've pushed me to like, you can do it, you're a great person, you can hit, you can do it. So like they just kept pushing me and I've gotten to where I am because of them.
Yeah.
Sam, she's always pointed out like I'm at my level. I'm right with the other girls even if I don't think it. So she's been a big person. And then Amy coming on this year, like she's helped me see those key points that I'm messing up on and how to fix it, and just she pushes me too to be better. Yeah. Any goals that you have for yourself as we kind of get to the second half of the season? What sort of things are you working on in practice and trying to get better at here at this point? My biggest goal right now is to cut more and pressing more on my blocks. That's one of my biggest issues, and obviously this is my first year playing full-time varsity, which is no different story, but there's a lot more expectations when it comes to varsity compared to JV. So those are my biggest goals, and just to make it worth my senior year. Nice. I got some quick questions for you here, some kind of like hot seat questions. First is going to be about, if I can get this paper to cooperate here, what is your favorite sport memory or moment that you can remember? My favorite memory would probably be sitting varsity, which sucks, but like all those times I like barked. I had that tradition where we got that kill, I'd barked like crazy, and I got the team and the bench going when doing that. So have you passed that along? Are there any barkers on the bench right now? No, Rowie kind of made me stop that tradition, but nice. What has been your biggest athletic challenge, would you say? I don't know. I don't have a lot. I guess like my mentality, I guess, would be my biggest. Yeah. How about biggest athletic accomplishment? Being at where I am today, coming in as an 8th grader, not playing, and not doing AAU those years I could have, and then getting to where I am today. Plans after high school? I'm going to the University of Iowa, and I'm going to major in radiology. Nice. And last question is, if there is one thing that you could change about your sport, about the sport of volleyball, what would it be? Is there anything that, if you could kind of wave a magic wand, that it could be different? Anything that comes to mind? Like any team, talking, I guess. Like that's what really brings us down, it's just in general talking. Like, we get down on ourselves because we don't talk, and in the huddle, it's hard to talk because we just want to go. We want to wave that last point, but we don't talk about what we can do better in the huddle.
Yep. All right, well, thanks a lot, Kaylee. Best of luck to you and the Trojans the rest of the season, and we'll be rooting for you.
All right, thank you.
Tama County farmers have been the economic engine of our community for generations. Every year, they face risks in weather, market prices, fuel costs, and other factors. Luckily, a wind project can help mitigate those risks. For the next 50 years, dozens of farming families have chosen to add another cash crop to their operation in the form of wind generation. They have the right to use their land as they see fit, the freedom to farm wind. Learn more about how Tama County wins with wind power at freedomtofarmwind.com. Welcome back. We're live from Benton Community High School. Darvin Graham and Hunter White with you here this evening as South Tama taking on the Bobcats in their regular season finale. So South Tama coming into this one 11-18. They were last in action on Saturday over at Union Community for a Saturday tournament. Losses in that one. So South Tama, as I see on quick stats, now I might not have all of the results there, but from what I have there, the Trojans lost 3 matches in that meet. They lost 2-0 to Union Community, and that was the closest set there was 21-17. They lost 2-1 to Central City, winning the second set 21-19. Having a close set, losing 21-19 in the first set, then winning 21-19 in the second set, losing by 2, 15-13 in set 3, and then also losing in 3 sets to Central Springs. They won the first one 23-21 and then dropped set number 2 21-16, and then the final set 15-7 against Central Springs. So that moves the Trojans to 11-18. And meanwhile, Benton Community, as we said, they're 9-19 overall. They last played South Tama on September 2nd. That was at the BCLUW Invitational. The Bobcats won 21-14 and 21-16 in straight sets. Their all-time, not all-time I should say, but their overall record dating back through the quick stats era, so that takes us back to 2008 in this case. 24-6 in favor of the Benton Community Bobcats in their series record dating back to 2008. The last time South Tama has gotten a win against Benton Community on the volleyball court was in 2013.
Wow.
So if South Tama is able to come in and get a victory here tonight, have some quasi-historical implications, you know, a first in a long time, and that's always fun for a program. So we'll see if the Trojans can kind of put something together here. And Hunter, if you want to kind of dig into our starting lineups here a little bit and kind of talk us through that.
Yeah, so for the Benton Bobcats, it's going to be junior setter Laura Jung, then senior setter outside hitter Emma Townsley, middle hitter sophomore number 4 Avery Palmer, then senior libero number 8 Kennedy Donald, sophomore middle hitter number 9 Aubrey Kelly, senior outside hitter number 10 Piper Nelson, and rounding out the Benton Bobcats is going to be sophomore middle hitter Callan Kepler. And to talk a little bit about the stats of the Benton Bobcats, currently Piper Nelson leads the Bobcats with 252 kills, followed by Emma Townsley with 122. Blocks is going to be Aubrey Kelly with 25 blocks. Digs leader for the Benton Bobcats is going to be Kennedy Donald with 244 digs, followed there by Emma Townsley with 233 digs. And then for aces for the Bobcats are going to be Emma Townsley with 28 aces and Piper Nelson with 18 aces.
The Bobcats are coached by head coach Mike Inbertson, and he's assisted by Mackenzie Banasic, Heidi Kuiper, and Haley Jacobs. Kind of taking a look through their schedule. They were last in action at Prairie High School over in Cedar Rapids. They had a tournament there on Saturday. Did not go so well for the Bobcats on Saturday. They had 4 losses, 1 win. Their win came against Cedar Rapids Kennedy, and they lost in straight sets to Cedar Rapids Prairie, Muscatine, Clear Creek Amana, and then lost 2-1 to Cedar Rapids Washington. So they come in a little bit hungry, probably trying to kind of get the taste of that Cedar Rapids Prairie tournament out of their mouth a little bit, and they get South Tama here tonight. And if you want to get us through the South Tama starters as well.
Absolutely. For your South Tama Trojans, starting out is going to be senior right setter, number 3, Mary-Kate Frakes. Junior setter, number 4, Skyla Beck. Senior outside hitter, number 5, Gloria Mullen. Junior outside hitter, number 7, Jeanette Cervantes. Junior middle hitter, number 8, Macy Welsh. Senior defensive specialist, number 9, Ashley Finch. So South Tama, their stats leaders are going to be Gloria Mullen with the kills for 169 kills, then followed by Macy Welsh with 95 kills. Blocks leader for South Tama is going to be Macy Welsh with 51 blocks. Digs is going to be Natalie Meek with 145 digs. And the aces leaders for South Tama is going to be Gloria Mullen with 42, Skyla Beck with 21, and then Mary-Kate Frakes with 20.
So kind of looking across the top here, matching up heights from these two teams. Benton Community not too much taller, but they do gain a little bit up front. Avery Palmer, their sophomore middle hitter, standing 5'11". She'll probably match up with Macy Welsh a lot tonight. Welsh standing around 5'10". And then Kelly and Nelson for Benton Community also at 5'10". So they're putting 5'10", 5'11", 5'10" right across the front. South Tama really more around the 5'9" area. That's kind of where they live with their middle hitters, thinking about Mullen and Cervantes there, just a little bit underneath that. So they're going to have just a little bit of a height advantage, a little bit of a length advantage. And South Tama, interestingly enough, kind of looking through their starters, Coach Rowie appears to have tweak things just a little bit. One of their captains, Natalie Meek, out of the starting lineup tonight. And no doubt if she's healthy, we'll probably see her rotate in some this evening. But she kind of gets subbed out for senior Ashley Finch at that DS spot. So we'll see if indeed that is the case. Unless I'm figuring that incorrectly, it could be that she's just the libero and wasn't on that sheet of starters. However, let's see. I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
7.
Yeah, I bet they're. So who are they missing then? Apologies here as I'm kind of triangulating this on the fly, but that means if I'm not counting in Meek as the libero, that means Keene and Bro are the hitters on the bench. Okay. Well, at any rate, we expect to see Ashley Finch in the starting lineup. That is a new thing.
Yes.
And the Trojans going back to their front line of Mullen, Cervantes, and Welsh up front. They do not have Kaylee Keene in there. She started a little bit earlier in the season. We haven't seen her in the starting lineup. All those players here tonight. I don't believe we've got any injured scratches from the roster tonight, so we'll see how the rotations kind of get put together, and maybe some of these players kind of find their way into the lineup as the evening goes along here.
Absolutely. I kind of see it as they're going to kind of try and experiment, maybe try and, since it's her final regular season game, probably would sub that in. Of course, give the seniors some spotlights tonight for the regular season. Another thing, too, that I kind of want to think about is maybe the strategy-wise, is that, of course, we see Benton, Piper Nelson, and Emma Townsley, 225 kills, 122 kills. They're going to be feeding them the ball almost the entire night. Yeah. So it's going to be having to deal with that height advantage, like you mentioned, Darvin, on that right-hand side or for South Tama. But for our kills leaders, we have 3 either over 100 or 150, and then we have 2 just about to hit 100. I'd be hard-pressed to think that they would get over 100 tonight. Yeah. So we're going to have more ability to kind of feed who we need the ball to score our points. So the versatility and the variety that South Tama is having the ability to play tonight is not only shown in that starting lineup with Finch starting as the defensive specialist, but being able to feed the ball with our kills leaders. So looking forward to, hopefully if South Tama can get low, they should be able to, or calm, they should be able to make happen whatever they need happen.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to have a word from our sponsors, and then when we get back, we'll have first serve. So we're going to take a pause here. Just about 2 minutes left on the clock for this warm-up. Then we'll go into the starting lineups and the national anthem here at Benton Community High School. We will check back in at the start of the first set here between Benton and South Tama. Thanks for being with us. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Trojan Country. Welcome back. We are live from Benton Community High School and just moments away from first serve of this WaMaC Conference duel between South Tama and the Benton Bobcats. I'm Darvin Graham, joined by Hunter White this evening, and we're ready to go here. South Tama again. The starters for the Trojans going to be Mary-Kate Frakes, Skyla Beck, Gloria Mullen, Jeanette Cervantes, Macy Welsh, Ashley Finch, and the libero tonight is Natalie Meek. So apologies, we kind of got our info a little incorrect there in the pregame. Meek starting at the libero as per usual. The difference here tonight is South Tama kind of rolling with two defensive specialists, with Frakes and Finch both on the court to start things off. So that's a little bit of a different wrinkle in the lineup. We'll see how that impacts the rotation. And we are ready to go. South Tama in all blue jerseys here this evening. Benton Community wearing pink out jerseys. They're in their pink tops here this evening.
Yeah, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Darvin, so great to see that they're in the all pink.
And serving first for the Trojans will be Skyla Beck, and that's also a little bit of a departure, as Mary-Kate Frakes had been the usual first player to serve. So we are going to be underway here. Skyla Beck serving 0-0, just the opening of the first set. And a return goes out of bounds from Benton Community.
Already South Tama is doing a good job. Skyla Beck able to just, put that over the net just barely. So here she goes for her second.
1-0, South Tama leading by 1, first set action. There's a return from the far left corner by Aubrey Kelly, and it gets knocked out of bounds for a point for Benton Community. 1-1 the score, first set action.
Yeah, so it's going to go back to that, just the penetration that Piper Nelson's able to have is just going to need to be stopped by South Tama.
Emma Townsley serving. South Tama, Cervantes returns it. Here comes an attack and a block from South Tama.
Oh, that
goes out of bounds.
Out of bounds. But that was a strong defense again. Piper's got a big swing on her, so I would expect to see, but that's a good start for South Tama's defense.
2-1, Benton leading by 1. Trojans receiving the serve. Jousting at the net. Dunk over by Cervantes. And it is a point for the Trojans. We're tied up at 2 as Paisley Bro will rotate in. The freshman hitter comes in for Ashley Finch.
Bro does a good job in her tournament setup, so subbing her in early is very welcome.
Here's Gloria Mullen serving now for the Trojans. Big swing there by Nelson. Against the block, back to the Benton Community side, and a hit goes out of bounds by the Bobcats. 3-2 the score. Trojans up by 1. First set action here. Gloria Mullen on her second serve. Straight down the middle, popped up by Nelson. Bobcats out of system, little light touch over. Now on the South Tama side, Paisley Bro, big swing and a diving dig from the Benton Community Bobcats. They return it over to the South Tama side. Mary-Kate Frakes, light touch over into the middle of the defense. Back to the South Tama side now, and it's just in the middle.
One thing that I want to see from South Tama tonight is going to have to be constantly applying that pressure. They have to be consistent through all 3 sets if they want to come out with a win tonight.
So Townsley and Palmer, I think, were kind of in on that score, and it's tied at 3. Here's Cervantes receiving the serve. Swatting it back to the Benton side. Swing by Nelson. Just too much height there to deal with. And Nelson, easy kill from the right corner.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Darvin, it's that height difference. 2 or 3 inches really matters on that front 3. So expect to see them serve it to Nelson every time.
Here's the libero for Benton Community. Kennedy Donald serving. Returned by Bro from the corner, and Bro scores with a long cross-court kill, and it's 4-4.
Yeah, Bro again. South Tama just has so many good spikes. Just anywhere you want to serve it, you can serve it to whoever. The setter on South Tama's side has a lot to choose from.
Serving now for the Trojans, Jeanette Cervantes. Picked up by Nelson. There's Kuiper trying to get it over the net. It goes into the net. Point Trojans.
Yeah, South Tama has to keep applying that pressure. Force Benton to continue these kill errors.
Here's Cervantes. Right into the middle of the Benton defense. Nelson, one-handed return to the back line. Mullen, now Bro, into the net, and it's a point for the Bobcats. Net kill error by Paisley Bro, and it's 5-5.
It also doesn't help that Palmer and Nelson are just right there. They're just such strong, lengthy arms. They have a good reach and jump.
Here is number 19, Mabry Sadler, serving now. And a big return by Macy Welsh right in the middle. One-handed kill, and it's down for a point. Strong swing there.
Yeah, 6-5. I've totally forgot to keep track of ties, but it's been close.
Yeah, we've been
very
neck and
close.
Neck. Early first set. Millie Mathis Henley serving now, and she has trouble at the line. Net error, or excuse me, service error into the net. And that ties it back up at 6. If you're just tuning in, we are an audio-only broadcast tonight due to restrictions from the Benton High School. We're unable to bring you a video feed, so it's going to be audio only this evening. We'll do our best to keep the score updated. We'll have the set scores updated on the screen in the top right corner as well as we get through the best of 5 sets tonight. Here's a serve from the Bobcats. Returned by Bro, way long, out of bounds. And it's now 8-6 in favor of the Bobcats.
But they got the right idea. Serve it to that left-hand side. Of course, they got the taller girls on Benton Community on that left-hand side for South Tama, so it's good for Bros trying to change it up through cross-court.
Piper Nelson, second serve, right to Meek in the corner. Meek pops it high and up near the net, and Townsley is right there to dump it over for a point. So the biggest lead of the set so far here at 9-6. Benton Community leading here.
South Tama's got to continue and apply that pressure, defensive pressure.
Hard serve right to Bro. Trojans managed to get it over to the Benton side. Free ball high into the rafters. Finally a one-handed tip over by Townsley. Ball is going back and forth at the middle of the net. Welsh setting up Bro, light touch in the middle, and it drops for a point. South Tama scores.
If they keep giving it to Bro, she's going to be able to, but as I say that, Bro's going to come out, Ashley Finch is going to come back in, but so far so good. You know, Bro's been able to be one of those, you know.
It's kind of kept her up in that front line a little longer,
exactly.
I think, this rotation here tonight. Here's Finch on the serve, Townsley on the return, and that's a strong kill from the right corner. So if you're kind of in your mind's eye here, we're positioned just to the back of South Tama's side of the court. So we are kind of facing South Tama. Their right corner is their kind of right hand, and it'll be the opposite side for the Bobcats. And a kill and a point for Benton Community, and they lead 11-7. 11-7 the first set score right now. And that brings up number 21, Olivia Brendez, to serve. Light touch into the middle for Macy Welsh, and it'll be good enough for a point. The tip over makes it 11-8.
Yeah, just the front set of girls, they've been able to give so much variety with their tip overs and kills cross court. Excellent job so far.
Macy Welsh serving down the right sideline. Scramble on the Benton side. Townsley one-hands it over. Now Gloria Mullen from the left side into the double block, out of bounds, point Benton Community. It goes off of a South Tama Trojan. And 2 players rotating in. It'll be Kuiper and Laura Jungi coming in for Palmer and Hayden Moore.
And for South Tama, Meek's gonna come in, Welsh to the bench.
Benton on the serve. And a whistle before it gets put over. Double touch is called against South Tama, and now the Benton lead 13-8, biggest lead of the set here so far.
South Tama has to keep their mentality high and strong.
Trojans receive the serve. The attack from Mullen on the left corner goes into the net, into the block, I should say, not really the net, but it's blocked right down to the court. Point for the Bobcats, 14-8.
They touched that at just the last moment. I was surprised that that went over.
Serve here from Jungi. Back and forth in the middle of the net on the South Tama side. Skylar Beck serving up Jeanette Cervantes, and she throws down a kill. Good looking swing there.
What an excellent kill by Cervantes. She's been able to just get those power shots when she needs them, and that was a prime example, just absolute heat right in the center of the court.
Trojans need to put a few of these together here, though, as they trail 14-9. Beck serving on the Benton side. Piper Nelson, big swing from the back line. Returned over by Beck. And now Townsley from the right corner. Good diving save there by Beck. And it will be another double hit called against South Tama. So the error on the Trojans makes it 15-9 in favor of Benton Community.
Yeah, Benton's been doing a good job at applying that pressure, of course, giving it to their leaders.
Townsley serving. Here's Frakes from the left corner, excuse me. And just a little off center on the swing, and the ball just kind of shanks off to the right into the net. Point to the Bobcats. 16-9 the score, first set action. Strong serve from Townsley. Almost got the ace there, and it just flies out of bounds.
That was a heads-up play by our South Tama players. That was coming off there, really, really hot. And just right at the last moment, pulled away, and we got the point.
6-point lead for the Bobcats. And now Gloria Mullen serving for STC. Kuiper just kind of free balls it over. Pass to Frakes, and she tries the kind of one-handed kill, and it goes just off the net. Error gives the point to the Bobcats. Now a timeout. South Tama's going to take a moment and try and regroup here a little bit. Pretty fast-paced first set action as Benton Community leading 17-10 in this best of 5.
Yeah, that's been their longest distance. They kind of saw each other at about 4 or 5 points, and ever since then, Benton Community's just been able to apply that constant pressure, feeding it to their kills leader, Nelson and Townsley. Of course, they're able to take advantage of that height difference, and that's kind of what's been telling so far in this first set.
Reminder, we do have more South Tama football coming your way on Friday night. It'll be a home game against Fairfield, and we'll have a video broadcast starting a little bit earlier than usual. We're going to start at 6 p.m. on Friday. There will be no Frosh game played Friday night. They're going to move that to Monday, and so we kind of bump up our schedule along with the varsity schedule. So we start pregame at 6, and we'll have kickoff at 7. That's on Friday. All right, out of the timeout, here's Kennedy serving the libero for Benton Community. They lead 17-10. Ball is on the Benton Community side. Nelson attacking hard into a double block from Frakes and Cervantes. They return it over. Still alive on the South Tama side. Free balled over by Meek. Now on the Benton side. Nelson, good swing again. Good block there by Cervantes. And now here's Frakes into the corner. Received by Townsley. It goes high into the net. Excuse me, high into the rafters, and finally out of bounds. South Tama scoring the point.
Yeah, just something that South Tama has to do is if they're going to serve it over, of course, they got to tip it over, but they got to tip it over right at the apex of whatever Benton Community's height is.
Now serving is Jeanette Cervantes. The serve is returned over by Nelson, and she nets the kill, stopping the quick run there. 18-11 the score. Benton Community kind of came out at around the 8-9 point mark, and they've been out in front here the rest of the way in this first set.
Absolutely, some substitutions in now for Benton Community.
This will be Sadler serving. Welsh attacking into the double block. The block holds firm, and that one was Palmer and Ashley Michaels. Kind of shutting down the attack there from Welsh, and it goes for a point, 19-11. Sadler, second serve. Beck tipping over to Frakes. She dumps it in the middle. And here's Nelson. Into the block, it tips over. And it will be too many touches against Benton Community.
It seems like they're always going to be serving it to the left side of Benton Community. So if we keep that strong right side and get our rotation correctly, we should be able to stop that.
Millie Mathis-Henley serving now. Bobcats have to kind of go out of bounds to save it. They do free ball it over to the South Tama side. Welsh comes screaming into the middle, sends it over, and a point. Double tap against Benton Community. Couple points here for South Tama.
Yeah, so great job there, kind of tipping it over right into the middle. Libero of Benton Community, and she couldn't do anything, get out of the way.
Here's Mathis Henley, second serve. Tipped over by Palmer. Trouble at the net. And it's going to be a net violation called against, it's going to be called against South Tama.
Why?
I didn't see that there.
Did not. I could have swore that the middle hitter of Benton Community came in a little bit too tight. Of course, our vantage point is a little bit
less than perfect
optimal
tonight. Yeah. 20-13 the score, but a service error on Nelson will give South Tama back the ball and get a point. So 20-14 now. South Tama trailing by 6 in this first set tonight. Also audio only, so you're only going to have us for kind of radio coverage here this evening. Here's Ashley Finch now serving. The Trojans trail by 6. Townsley returning the serve. Ball gets set high in the air. Mullen attacking from the left corner, picked up by Benton Community. Townsley one-hands it over into the middle. Meek saving it. Mullen, cross court, dug out. Townsley again. This time it's too much, a little too hot, coming to the back line, and it goes out of bounds. Point Benton Community.
Still, South Tama has the right idea. It was just an unfortunate set of circumstances that Meek was just slightly out of position. She did get a hit on it with her right hand, but just couldn't make it happen.
And now here's Brendez. Big rotation for Benton Community. We're seeing, I think I've seen almost every player in this one tonight, maybe save one or two. So they're playing a pretty large rotation tonight. 22-14 the score, and there's a service error called against Brendez, and that'll make it 22-15. So South Tama will get the serve back here, but time getting short in this first set. So we know how critical those first set victories can be in a best of 5. Macy Welsh serving. Townsley has to kind of save it right at the last moment. Back to the South Tama side. Attack there from Cervantes. Returned by Townsley, but it goes right into the block from Skyla Beck, and she shuts it down for a point. 22-16 now. Trojans score 2 in a row.
Yeah, they got to keep this up tempo going, as we already see Welsh is going to serve again.
Macy Welsh right up the right sideline. Townsley one-hands it over. Right there for Mathis Henley. Beck setting up Mullen, and Mullen's attack just goes to the right and into the net. Kill error will give the point to Benton Community. Now 23-16 the score. 23-16 Benton Community leading here in the first set.
So Meek's going to come back in for South Tama, Welsh to the bench. And of course, there's another set of rotation substitutions.
They're kind of doing 2 at a time on the Benton side. And that brings up Laura Jungi to serve. She's a junior setter. And her serve goes into the net. A couple of service errors there by Benton Community, giving up some points where they don't want to be, but they've got enough of a lead here where they're feeling pretty comfortable. Still leading 23-17. And that will send Skyla Beck back to the line. And she swings hard into the back line. Picked up by Kuiper on the front corner. Now here's Mullen on the attack, blocked by number 9, Aubrey Kelly. Free balled over by Frakes. Nelson to Kuiper on the South Tama side. Meek passes it over to Benton side. Light touch there by Townsley. Still alive on the South Tama end. Frakes hard swing into the double block. Kept alive by South Tama. And a last-second dive by Kennedy Donald at the far corner. Knocks the ball out of bounds, and that'll be a point for the Trojans.
Yeah, good volley right there from South Tama, keeping it alive. There was some good, solid digs from not only Meek, but also our front girls as they're kind of trying to change it up on Benton.
Skyla Beck serving again. 23-18 the score, and Townsley kill shot into the net. No, it's going to be called a carry there.
Interesting.
So not a kill error, it's going to be a carry.
Okay, well, I guess I got to change my statistics on that.
And there's Beck, 3rd or 4th serve here for the junior. Townsley attacking, returned high into the air. Mullen swinging into the double block. It goes out of bounds. Another point for the Trojans.
They've been closing this out. I believe it was
down by 3 now.
Yeah, at one point the distance was as far as 7. So South Tama has this pressure, has this up-tempo motion, and Beck's going to serve again.
Here's Skylar Beck from the right corner, serving to Nelson. Ball kind of dies in the middle, but they managed to get it over to the South Tama side. Frakes attacking, picked up by Benton. Townsley, light touch, twirls on the net, goes high into the South Tama side. Here's Mullen on the kill.
Wow.
Not quite there, picked up by Benton. Nelson, huge swing, long out of bounds. South Tama stays alive.
That was a big help there on the Mullen left-hand side. Big cross-court shot, a lot of heat behind it.
And the run here forces a timeout by Benton Community. They're trailing by 2 now. Quite a comeback here in this first set.
Yeah, just
for South Tama.
Just the up-tempo that South Tama has been able to carry through this, able to come back from this. I'm actually surprised that Benton didn't take a timeout earlier. It's just the constant momentum of the give and take of South Tama has just been so strong tonight.
We are about 2.5 feet away from South Tama's student section here, which is out in great force this evening, which is wonderful to see. They're in a kind of a country western, a lot of cowboy hats and
cowboy
bandanas.
hats and boots and
yeah.
And Wranglers.
Right. Out of this timeout, Skylar Beck serving still on a run here. Ball's on the South Tama side as the serve is returned. Mullen returning. Her shot goes long and out of bounds, and that will set up set point here for Benton Community.
South Tama's got to keep a calm, cool composure. I know the kind of body language is a little tense right now. Set point in a very close game. They can do this.
Here's Emma Townsley serving for the Bobcats. She goes right to Frakes. Frakes picks it up, gets it to Cervantes. She tips it over, ball ricocheting around the Benton side. Finally gets passed over to the South Tama side. Here's Frakes into a double block. It gets popped up, and it goes out of bounds. Point South Tama.
That was a good job by South Tama there, going to the right-hand side this time. So Finch is going to come out. Bro's going to come in. At this point, when you got Cervantes on the right-hand side, Bro on the left-hand side, you can serve it to anybody.
A little more height here on the front line, which could be helpful if it comes down to kind of a jousting situation. And here's Nelson, big swing from the corner. And the line judge, the attack is going to be called in for the final set point. The team didn't like it, but it's going to do it for the first set. The score 25-23, and that will be set number 1. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the second set here in a moment. Welcome back live from Benton Community High School. South Tama dropping the first set to the final score of 25-22. Made a valiant comeback there in the latter part of that first set, but they are unable to convert, and the Bobcats go out to a one-set lead here as we get ready to start set number 2. South Tama out with kind of a different look of players here. The ball goes out of bounds off the first serve from the Bobcats. Point to Benton Community. So out on the court, on the back line, we've got Natalie Meek, Ashley Finch, Millie Mathis-Henley. Up front, we have Skyla Beck, Gloria Mullen.
And Cervantes.
Yeah. 2 straight points here for the Bobcats.
Yeah, at this point, it's kind of trying to get back in the rhythm that South Tama had. They had a good up-tempo pressure that they were applying. And after what some people in the crowd would call a dubious backline call, it would kind of blow the sails out, too.
Yeah. All right, here is the Trojans now working in the middle of the net. Piper Nelson attacking from the right corner, and she gets one to kind of graze the beam on the gym ceiling, and it just kind of takes a hard angle back to the court, falls down for a point. Benton Community leading 3-0 here in the second set. 3-0 lead for Benton. Emma Townsley serving. Mullen returning the serve from the left corner. Picked up by Moore. Back now, setting up Cervantes in the middle. Her attack picked up by the Benton defense. Returned by Nelson. Finch swinging from the middle of the back line. Returned again by Nelson from the right corner. Mullen just kind of has to two-hand shove it over. Good attack there by Jeanette Cervantes. And South Tama gets on the board.
Finch was a key part in that set of rallies because she was able to get that spike from the middle of the back line and then came back right away from that double block and got just a dig.
Skyla Beck serving now. Trojans trailing 3-1. The ball returned over to the South Tama side. Mullen attacking from the left corner. Picked up by Moore. Free balled over to the South Tama side by Townsley. Now here's Frakes from the right corner. Moore one-hands it back to the South Tama side. Cervantes into the block. Pinballs back to South Tama. Mullen attacking. Picked up by Donald, the libero. Meek setting up Finch. Back to the Benton side. Here's Nelson on a big swing. Good dig there by Ashley Finch. It was kind of a 2-shot setup. The first shot kind of got Finch out of position, and it kind of went right back to Nelson, and she was right there to kill it into the middle of the court where Finch was not, as she kind of had to pull herself out to the back line. 4-1 lead for the Bobcats. 4-1 lead.
And that serve's going to go out of bounds, so South Tama going to shorten the deficit now down to 2 for 4-2.
Serving for South Tama is Gloria Mullen, the senior, one of the captains for STC this year. Mullen serves straight up the middle. Returned over by Callan Kuiper. Frakes kind of had a hard angle trying to get it over the net, running to the sideline and just kind of gets a hand up and it goes into the net. Kill error there. Gives a point to the Bobcats, 5-2.
Yeah, so more substitutions coming for Benton. So they're still going to try and keep some fresh players.
Mabry Sadler serving now for Benton Community. Returned by Mullen into the middle, light touch. Here's Nelson, huge swing. Nice dig by Gloria Mullen, and Meek returns it over. And a little trouble at the net there by Avery Palmer, the sophomore. Kind of swung. I don't know if she was, I think she just mistimed it.
Yeah, from what I saw, it was just kind of like, she was kind of jumping a little bit too antsy on it because that was a big swing back that she had.
Here's Jeanette Cervantes serving now for STC. And it'll be an ace for the junior.
So far, South Tama gets their first kill of the evening. Or first ace, my apologies.
5-4 now, a 1-point lead for Benton Community. Piper Nelson, again, really looking strong from that right corner position.
Yeah, she's been doing a good job trying to sniff out that back line. Some of them gone a little over, but most of them have been doggone right on the line.
6-4 the lead for Benton Community. As Nelson's serving now. Low serve right down the middle. Picked up by Meek. She sends it over to the Benton side. Now Townsley will attack right to Paisley Bro, who's just come in off the bench. Bro returns it. Now Townsley from the corner, going diagonal. Dig by Meek. A whistle. And a double touch against South Tama will kind of stop the volley there and give a point to the Bobcats. 7-4, they lead by 3 here in set number 2. And Piper Nelson just kind of fastballs it right up the middle, and that's good for an ace. Nobody was there. I think South Tama caught sleeping a little bit on that one.
Yeah.
And they now trail by 2.
If that was in bounds, that was going to be a hard press shot, but maybe they just knew that was going to go over.
Mathis Henley serving. Here's Townsley returning. Paisley Bro from the left corner. Nelson had to go behind her back to save it. And Townsley will score from the right corner. And kind of throw it down into the middle of the South Tama defense. 8-5.
Again, South Tama has to keep that right-hand side strong. If they don't, it's not going to allow our backline any ability to move.
Olivia Brendez serving. Ball onto the South Tama side. They free ball it over to the Benton side. Kelly punching it over. Returned by Macy Welsh. And this time it's going to be Ashley Michaels hitting it hard and out of bounds. Back to a 2-point lead for Benton Community now, 8-6.
So this is kind of the up-tempo that South Tama needs to do. So Bro's going to go to the bench, and in these tight situations, Finch serves consistently.
Ashley Finch right down the middle, serving for STC. Townsley, light touch into the donut. Free-balled over by Meek. Nelson kind of punches it into the air. The attack from Emma Townsley will fall for a point. South Tama now trailing 9-6.
So South Tama, again, they was strong on that right-hand side. That's kind of what we want to see. But, you know, at that point, you got to make sure that your back line is going to give you some support. I know we're kind of trying different kind of rotation sets that we haven't really seen today, but...
Low serve there by Laura Jungi. South Tama returns it on the attack from Macy Welsh. Here's Townsley now from that right corner again. Picked up by the South Tama back line. Mullen returns it from the corner. Punched over by Jungi. And nobody there, kind of in the middle for South Tama, and the ball falls down for a point. 10-6, the lead. Largest, well, not quite the largest lead. I think they led by 4 early on.
Yep. So they kind of been keeping that space.
Serve from the Bobcats. Picked up by Macy Welsh. Townsley, the tip over the front line. South Tama picks it up. Beck to Gloria Mullen, and Mullen just kind of floats one in right in the front line there, and nobody was there. Trojans get a point. 10-7, they trail now.
That's another thing that I really like seeing is that the sets for Mullen have been getting closer, so it gives her more variety.
Macy Welsh, high serve into the back line, picked up by Kennedy Donald. Now Finch setting up Mullen into the double block. The ball still high into the air near the net. The Bobcats have trouble, and it finally gets touched too many times.
It's going to be called a carry.
Carry there by the Bobcats gives South Tama a point. They trail still 10-8 as Macy Welsh steps back to serve. Callan Kuiper into the block. Good job there by Jeanette Cervantes. And the defensive work nets South Tama a point. A 1-point game now.
Yeah, we kind of saw the distance kind of be created at about 7-4, and so far South Tama's been getting a little run going.
Macy Welsh serving. And Piper Nelson, just a little too much heat on the fastball, going right kind of to the knees of Macy Welsh. And she couldn't get down quite fast enough. Goes out of bounds. 11-9 the score here in set number 2. The Trojans lost set 1, 25-22.
Wow, what a get by Benton. But that's going to go down as a kill error.
And so the Bobcats kind of rattle the return around. They serve to the South Tama side. South Tama sends it to the far left sideline, and the return trying to get it back to South Tama's side goes into the net. 11-10 the score as South Tama gets the ball on the serve. Skylar Beck serving. Nelson, Jiminy Christmas, just comes flying in from that right corner. Easily the most athletic player here tonight on this court so far in this first set and a half.
Yeah, she's got some vertical on her, and she's got that big swing. She cocks and loads that thing and just delivers speed.
All right, another serve here from Kennedy Donald, the libero. And this time South Tama gets a point as the return there by Finch, and Cervantes kind of scoots through the double block and finds a spot on the court. Still Benton holding on to a 1-point lead here. South Tama hasn't been able to kind of overtake the lead yet, but they're staying in it. And there's Cervantes, a little quick dunk over for another point. Now we're tied at 12.
This is the first tie that we've had this set, Darvin. So South Tama applying that pressure, able to come back from a 4-point deficit.
And Gloria Mullen serving straight up the middle. Trojans and Bobcats tied at 12. Nelson firing away again, this time dug out by Mullen. Swing by swing by Frakes is picked up. Free balled over to the South Tama side. Mullen passes it over. Townsley setting up Piper Nelson, and this time she goes off speed up the right sideline and drops it in.
Yeah, that was a good change of pace from Benton, trying to stop our momentum that we've had. So they're changing it up, trying to give it to our right-hand side, which hasn't seen a lot of shots tonight.
13-12, the Benton lead. Skylar Beck setting up Paisley Bro, and Bro kind of gets it between Palmer and Ashley Michaels there, and gets the kill to go. Back at a tie score, 13-13. And now here comes Jeanette Cervantes to serve for STC. Piper Nelson returns it. Ball ricochets around South Tama's side.
Wow, what a set of circumstances. Just the dig out by Mullen there, able to serve it back again to get blocked. A big shot there again by Mullen, and an error, block error by
Avery
Benton.
Palmer was the one in the middle, and she tried to dunk it over, and it didn't go over the net. It went back on her side, and it was a point for South Tama. They have a 1-point lead now. The ball kind of high in the air after the serve. And Piper Nelson quickly shuts down the rally. And we're back at a tie score, 14-14 after the kill by Piper Nelson. Doing most of her work kind of in an attack formation, if you want to call it like that. The points she's getting are coming from the front line in that corner position. Benton Community serving. And there's Paisley Bro just floating one over and finding an opening in the middle there.
Yeah, the sets and passes that that Nelson is getting, if she gets it right in that zone, any kind of speed, and it's all hers.
And now Emma Townsley in that right corner, attacking, sent over to the Paisley Bro in the left corner, and Bro having a little run here late in the second set. I think she's had maybe 3-4 kills maybe.
Bro?
Yeah.
Yes, she's had 3. That would make her third. She had 1 in the first set.
Millie Mathis Henley serving. Trojans with a 2-point lead. Serve returned by Townsley, picked up by Meek. Now Bro again from that left corner, and she scores again.
Wow, Bro's just been on fire. She currently has 4 kills just in this second set, all from the left-hand side.
Mathis Henley serving once more. Down the middle. Townsley tips it over. And it will be another point for South Tama.
Yeah,
as the front block there by Welsh shut it down. And a timeout. Coach Embertson and the Bobcats want to talk things over. South Tama with a 4-point lead, 18-14 the score, as South Tama kind of behind the hitting of Paisley Bro, the freshman outside hitter, kind of rally back, and they got a 4-point lead.
Yeah, South Tama's been doing so far so good, especially from the digging department. So tons of excavators out there for South Tama, if you will. So just because of just Townsley and Nelson, just the power that they have on the Benton left-hand side has been phenomenal. And it kind of shows why, you know, they'll take sets away from these bigger schools, is the power that the front hitters have for Benton Community. South Tama has been able to match that defensively.
Yeah, I mean, Nelson definitely getting her swings in, but South Tama has been able to respond enough times to kind of keep pace, at least in this set. And, you know, the Bobcats kind of came out and punished South Tama a little bit in set 1. But, all right, out of this timeout, Trojans lead by 4. Mathis Henley serving. Here's Townsley. Quickly getting Benton Community onto the board again after the timeout.
Yeah, the kill shot over there for our back right-hand corner just found just enough real estate to get it inbounds right in the corner.
And here's Brendez serving for Benton Community. Big swing there by Macy Welsh into the block. The ball kind of loses gas a little bit. And a mistimed swing there by Emma Townsley will give South Tama a point. Kind of a kill error right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't call it a carry this time. Of course, same kind of motion, but they're applying that pressure and making Benton have mistakes.
Ashley Finch serving now for STC. Serving to the middle of the Benton defense. Free balled over to the South Tama side. Welsh, light tap over the block. Townsley, one-hand swing. Dug out by Mullen, but Finch and Meek unable to kind of dig it out from the backside there, and it goes out of bounds for a point to the Bobcats. 19-16 lead. Trojans still maintaining a 3-point lead here as we get close to 20.
We kind of seen a nice variety of set of runs. Benton has led by 4. South Tama has led by 4. Very competitive second set.
Laura Jungi serving. The return by South Tama unable to get over the net. So the error will give another point to the Bobcats. Now they pull back to within 2. And here the ball now on the South Tama side. Gloria Mullen from the left corner, swinging, attacking, and scoring. 2017 the lead for STC.
That was a very athletic set of motions set up by South Tama for Gloria Mullen. Big swing, got it to go down.
And now Macy Welsh serving for the Trojans. Townsley returning, cross court, dug out by the Trojans. Macy Welsh from the back line, swinging and scoring. 21-17 now.
Just phenomenal on all 3 parts of the play from South Tama. Digging's great, kills are great, passing's great. So far, so good.
Macy Welsh again as the Trojans lead by 4. Townsley tips it over, going sideways, and it'll be a point for South Tama. I think a net violation called there.
That was out of bounds over there on the far left-hand side
out of bounds, okay, all right.
Yep.
22-17. Ben's going to have to be careful here because South Tama's getting ready to steal this thing, I think.
Absolutely, they're coming in with the momentum on this one.
We'll see here, third serve for Macy Welsh. Townsley picks it up on the sidelines. I think she could have let that one go. And the jousting at the net between Aubrey Kelly and Macy Welsh goes to a point for the Bobcats, it looks like. Stays on the South Tama side. So 22-18 the score now, still a 4-point lead. With the Bobcats back with the serve. Serve returned by Mullen into a double block, sent back to the South Tama side. Mullen free balls it over to the Benton side. Running tap over by Nelson. Cervantes swinging. Holy cow.
Wow, what a dig out save all the way from the back corner.
That was Emma Townsley running backwards.
But that's going to be a kill for Gloria Mullen.
It's going to, so South Tama's going to kind of save that rally and come away with the point, but the reaction there was because Emma Townsley, after the Benton Community team had to go completely out of position, kind of swinging one-handed to save the ball, Townsley just sprints to the back line and just throws her arm out, and heaves it back behind her, and it goes over, but Gloria Mullen was right there, returned it, got the kill, and now South Tama leading 23-18 here, nearing set point.
Yeah, South Tama finally being a little bit calm, not as tense. So they're out ahead by 5. I believe almost our largest point difference in the second set.
And now Skyla Beck, the junior setter, serving here for STC. Right down the middle. And here's Nelson, right when they need her, swinging hard. Ball stays alive. Ricochets back to the South Tama side, and a point for the Bobcats.
They're coming out of their timeouts. They're trying to change this momentum. A good, strong block by Cervantes and Beck there in the front on that second to last block. Couldn't make it happen the second time around, but so far so good. I wouldn't be worried about just 1 point.
So now Kennedy Donald, the libero, serving for Benton. Serve goes right to Frakes in the back line. Beck setting up Frakes from the left side. Popped up by Jungi. Nelson attacking from that right corner. Picked up by South Tama. Mullen into the double block and getting the point. And we've got to set point here, 24-19.
That was an excellent swing there by Mullen. Able to continue to get the ball to even roll off the net. So just a little luck on our side, but still a strong serve shot.
Mullen serving for set point here. Nelson tipping over the double block. Meek setting up Bro. Return to South Tama's side. Bro again, right back into the double block. Tipped over by Palmer. Set by Beck, and it'll be good. South Tama takes set number 2, 25-19.
Wow, what a good set from our girls right there. Already looking at my stat sheet, Mullen with 5 kills, Bro with 4, and the digging absolutely phenomenal. Mullen 4, Welsh 2, Finch with 3, Mathis Henley with 2, and there were some that I've missed just because of the tempo.
And that was Mary Kate Frakes finishing off that last point and that last score. So the ball kind of went back and forth a little bit. Frakes in that right corner position, got up, elevated, and just had a kill right down between the two blockers.
Yeah, it was kind of about that 14-point time where, or 14-14 is where South Tama kind of just applied that pressure. So South Tama doing a good job at maintaining their ability to create these big runs, so that could help us going into the third set.
And so South Tama rallying back to pull even, 1 set apiece, and we got ourselves a meet here.
Quite the game, Darvin. It's been electric, especially, you know, because I've noticed that South Tama, if they go down a set, the sails just kind of get blown out, and they can't seem to muster anything after losing that first set. But so far so good. They've been consistent, they've been positive, and the body language, of course, was tense at the end of that first set, but since then they kind of hit a groove, and it's been showing.
And so if you're just tuning in, South Tama dropping set 1 to a final score 25-22. They come back and rally after a deficit early on. They come get a lead around the 10-point mark, and they kind of push that lead the rest of the way. Actually, it was maybe around 15.
14.
14, okay.
14.
So the lead came at 14. The rally kind of came around 10, and they get the win 25-14. So we're at best of 5 here in this dual meet for the WaMaC Conference. And we're at set number 3.
Yeah, so far what South Tama has been able to do is they've been able to feed it to their kills leaders. Of course, Bro, Mullen, and Cervantes has been having free play all along that front set of the net. So the left-hand side been big for Mullen and Bro, and the center and right-hand side has been big for Welsh and Cervantes.
So serving first for STC is going to be Skyla Beck on the court, Natalie Meek, Ashley Finch, Gloria Mullen, Mary Kate Frakes, and one other player I can't see right now, Jeanette Cervantes. All right, ball returned over from Benton Community. First action of the third set now.
And already,
Finch one-hands it over to the Benton side. There's Kelly returning to the back line. Finch sends it right back over. And Townsley attacking from the right corner, but it is long and out of bounds.
That was the longest shot that I've seen by Townsley tonight. Normally, if they were out of bounds, it'd be like maybe 6 inches. That one was by like 6 feet.
Here's Beck again serving. Trojans leading 1-0, and a whistle before the ball gets to the net. Two touches called against Benton Community.
Wow.
And Coach Embertson for Benton kind of confused about where that came from. Talking to the official here, but it'll stay with South Tama. Skyla Beck serving again. Beck serve, low, picked up by Benton. The ball kind of finally tipped around. Good work at the net there by Cervantes. And that will score a point as the whistle goes off. Too many touches called against Benton. And the pressure kind of, you can see the body language on Benton. They're just a little tensed up right now. And we'll see if South Tama can kind of take advantage here.
And again, we just see that again with the tense nature. The setup by Benton, I didn't quite catch the number, maybe Donald, just kind of sent it back instead of sending the bump forward. So definitely a tense situation now for Benton as they take another timeout. Or
I
take
have to say,
first.
Our student section, we got a lot of energy coming from the South Tama student section, not a ton of energy coming from the Benton side, but at any rate, long night here. We'll see how that affects the crowd. I think that's helped South Tama a little bit, just kind of not get too much into their own head. So far here, they got a 4-point lead as we got a timeout on the court called by Benton.
Again, going back into that second set as we're still kind of early, it wasn't until South Tama got that lead at the very end did we start seeing like 4-point deficits. So again, you know, well within the realm of Benton Community to come back in this third set, but South Tama applying that pressure.
Skyla Beck from the line again, sending it over to Donald, the libero. And this time, it's going to be Aubrey Kelly, excuse me, running in and attacking, getting a point for the Bobcats. They get on the board now, 4-1 the score, as the Bobcats go back to serve. Townsley serving. Serve picked up by Finch. Beck setting up Mullen from the right side. And now Piper Nelson, just too high on that one. The angle, very difficult for Finch to dig out, and it scoots to the ground. 4-2 the score now.
Our ball just barely went over.
Now here's Mary Kate Frakes from the left corner. One-handed attack. South Tama gets the point. The line judge called it out of bounds. We'll see here. The officials kind of conferring. We might not have the final word on this point yet.
Yeah, the line judge called it in, but I think the FAR official called it out. And from my angle, the reflection, it's kind of hard to see that line from my angle, but that did look out to me.
Thank you.
But that's going to go point South Tama.
South Tama maintains the point, and they still lead. They lead by 3 here, 5-2 in this third set.
So that's going to go down as Frakes' first kill of the night.
And here's Gloria Mullen serving right up the middle. Piper Nelson attacking from the right corner, and she gets a point to drop. 5-3 the score.
I also wonder if some fatigue is setting in a little bit for South Tama, because Mullen was a little slow on that dig, and that point was able to go for Benton.
Trojans not using quite as deep of a rotation as Benton Community. The Bobcats kind of rotating 2 at a time, where South Tama coming in 1 at a time. Here's the ball now ricocheting all over the court, finally getting sent over to the Benton side. And a kill into the net.
That's
by
going to be
Townsley.
Kepler.
Oh,
excuse
Kuiper.
me.
Callan Kuiper on the swing there.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, from our angle, that far side of the
Hard
court,
to see, yeah.
that Benton's, yeah, it's a little difficult.
Here's Cervantes from the left corner. Serve picked up by Jungi. Returned over to the South Tama side. Paisley Bro swinging hard to the cross-court corner. Ball gets popped up to the ceiling, comes down right in front of the Benton Community net, and South Tama picks up the point there.
No, actually, on that tip out from Welsh, the close official is going to call that a touched net. So
it will be Benton with a point, and the score now 6-4 after the net violation. Captain Gloria Mullins kind of talking things over with the official, and it will remain a Benton point, 6-4. Cervantes rotating out for Natalie Meek, the libero. And now serving onto the South Tama side. Ball back to Piper Nelson for Benton Community. And Nelson attacks it, sends it out of bounds. Point South Tama.
That's, again, the first time that they've tried to go for a kill on their left-hand side, so right down the line. They've been going wide tonight, so I would look to see them try to keep it on the right-hand side.
Millie Mathis-Henley serving now for STC. Trojans with a 3-point lead. And Nelson will come away with a point that time as she goes high above the net. Cracking one down for another point. 7-5. A 2-point lead here for STC. Trojans with the momentum in this third set here so far. Here's Macy Welsh going into the double block, sent right back over. Now on the Benton side. Nelson changing directions. Pops it into the back line. Finally passed over by Welsh. Sadler setting up Townsley, who gets it to Mullen in the back line, and now Paisley Bro just buries one from the left corner.
That was a good job. Of course, our setting has been coming slowly closer from that out-of-bounds line, so that gives more variety for the spiker to kind of choose where they want. So good sets right now for South Tama.
Ashley Finch serving now. Trojans with a 3-point lead, 8-5 in this set 3. Ball returned back to South Tama. Macy Welsh tipping it over. On the Benton side, Townsley from the right corner dumps one in just right in front of Ashley Finch. Point to the Bobcats. 8-6 now the score.
So far so good. Of course, I kind of almost wonder if it's a game plan now to try and serve it over to that left-hand side for their kill shots.
Olivia Brendez serving for Benton. Gloria Mullen from the left corner attacking, picked up by Benton Community. Townsley from the right side, way long and out of bounds. Just way off the mark that time. 9-6 the score. 9-6, South Tama leading here in set 3, best of 5.
South Tama has been able to keep their distance, and so far the pressure has been a give and take for both sides.
Macy Welsh serving for STC. Emma Townsley, one hands it over to the South Tama side. Now a set and an attack from Gloria Mullen, and she'll get it to go. Goes hard off of the block, but it spins to the left, and it goes out of bounds. Point STC.
Yeah, just like what I'm seeing there from the front line of girls. Just the rotation's been excellent.
Macy Welsh serving, tipped over by Kelly. And Kelly will get the kill in the middle. Aubrey Kelly, the sophomore.
Yeah, that ball was very well placed right on the line. So excellent middle kind of change of direction there from Benton.
Benton Community with a good amount of underclassmen playing significant minutes here. They got Avery Palmer, a sophomore, Aubrey Kelly, a sophomore, Callan Kuiper, a sophomore, and we're seeing Olivia Brendez a lot. She's a freshman as well. And so kind of a split between a strong senior class with Townsley and Nelson. They're kind of high point scorers, and a lot of underclassmen as well here. South Tama leading by 2, 10-8. Benton Community serving, returned by Mullen. And Townsley will not be able to get it over. It'll be a double touch called against Benton Community.
Yeah, and that point before, South Tama had a double touch. So these officials really trying to be, a little nitpicky here on the last game of the regular season.
And here's Skylar Beck serving now. And good job there by Mullen and Cervantes, working up front, shutting down the attack and getting a point for STC, 12-8.
So far, so good. So, again, a strong set of girls right now for South Tama. Mullen and Cervantes both getting 2 successful blocks.
Skylar Beck serving. There's Kelly on the attack, picked up by Beck in the middle. Mullen sends it back over. One-hander by Nelson. Good diving save there by Skyla Beck again in the back line. Frakes into the double block. Back to the South Tama side. Meek free hands it over. Tip over by Townsley, and it'll be a carry called against Benton Community.
Yeah, that ball even wasn't going to go over. That just went straight up and straight down.
The players almost collided at the net there,
Yeah.
and I think Townsley had no other choice but just to kind of get her hand underneath of it. So 13-8 the score, and another ace for Skyla Beck. South Tama rolling here in set 3.
Yeah, first ace for South Tama on this third set. Keep the momentum going.
And here's Beck again, right up the middle to Donald, the libero. Townsley sending it back over. Quick punch over by Frakes. Now here's Beck setting up a shot from Mullen. Light tip over, dug out by Townsley. Jungi saves it, gets it back to the South Tama side. Cervantes on the kill, and she gets one to go down.
Again, just the setting that South Tama has. Again, going to the variety of whoever they want on that front set of girls out of whatever rotation they want to run. So it's been paying dividends here for South Tama.
15-8 the score. South Tama widening a lead here in set number 3. And a kill error by Piper Nelson. You can see the frustration starting to bubble a little bit on Benton Community.
Yeah, and this was, Piper was doing it right in the middle of the court, so kind of maybe should have set that. I didn't know what the bump count was, but.
And here is Beck still serving for STC. Quickly returned to the South Tama side. Meek passes it over, now on the Benton side. Callan Kuiper jousting at the net, and it finally goes down. Point to the Bobcats. So Kuiper gets one to go, and that'll kind of stop the run for STC a little bit.
Still doing great so far, 7-point deficit. This is the largest deficit that I think I've seen all evening long, pretty much.
In favor of South Tama, that's right. And so now serving for the Bobcats, it'll be Emma Townsley, the senior. Townsley served straight up the middle. And an attack there by Gloria Mullen. I thought, just from my vantage point, I thought it fell in front of us, but it went over the net, right between the two defenders. Point South Tama, 17-9 the score now.
Yeah, South Tama's been doing a good job, you know, penetrating that block. Of course, the height advantage with Benton Community.
Mullen, low serve, straight up the middle. Nelson attacking, high on the net. Picked up well by Meek in the corner. And the return there by Frakes just goes a little out of bounds. Well, it went all the way out of bounds, but it went a little too far and out of bounds. So
yeah, that's the first out of bounds shot that I've seen, you know, get a little bit of distance there from the back line. So far South Tama has been able to keep it in the lines.
Donald serving, almost got the ace there, but it got dug out, and this time the return goes down for a point, and this is going to be the challenge here for South Tama. How do you respond when Benton starts to score some points? You've got the momentum, you've got the kind of mental part of this game, this set 1 right now, if you can kind of keep it going. And there's a service error by Kennedy Donald, a little help there from the Benton side.
Yeah, so the toughest thing about returning the serve is you just don't know where it's going to land. So everybody gets a little bit tense there, but of course we get the shot now, and it's going to go well.
Jeanette Cervantes serving for STC. 18-11 the score. Piper Nelson elevating, sending the ball into the corner. Paisley Bro will attack, and she'll get one to go. Right off of Kuiper and Palmer. Ricochets out of bounds. 19-11. Another timeout called by Benton Community. South Tama's got to be feeling the blood in the water here a little bit. And if you're not thinking that, down, you know, not down, but tied 1-1, able to go up 2-1. This is a critical moment here as South Tama nearing the 20-point mark against Benton Community.
Yeah, so far the front set of girls on the blocking set. Of course, Mullen Cervantes able to get 2 successful blocks, and then right there at the very end, Frakes and Welsh able to get a successful block. So the height advantage, from my perspective, is not playing a part for Benton.
We've seen Piper Nelson jumping 2-3 inches higher than anybody else in the court tonight. She's scoring, but not enough to where it's really pushing Benton Community in their offense. And I'll tell you, we've said it a few times, this student section for South Tama is the loudest, most energetic group in this gym right now. And if South Tama is able to pull this thing out, they're going to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
That's a big part of where this energy in this room's coming here from right now. Is the South Tama student section.
100%.
All right, 19-11, out of the timeout. Cervantes serving. And that time it was Frakes and Welsh defending against Piper Nelson in the right corner, and the block holds on. 20-11. Here we go.
South Tama's doing a good job again. Piper had that big swing on her and just completely negated by our front set of girls.
All right, here's Cervantes from the right side serving. Returned by Nelson.
Oh, miscommunication.
It was a good effort there by Mullen, who kind of put the brakes on just enough. The ball just sort of died right in the middle of the South Tama defense. Point to the Bobcats. It's an 8-point lead here for South Tama, though. They lead 20-12 as we go into the final few points of this third set. Best of 5, of course. And it's Mabry Sadler serving for Benton Community. Welsh tipping over the serve into the middle of the Benton defense. Meek free balls it over. Kuiper setting up. Nelson attacking, picked up by South Tama. And that time it was the double block for the Bobcats, really doing some good work on their left corner. It was Palmer and Michaels rejecting the attack there by Bro.
Yeah, Bro had a big swing. That had some good power on it. Just a crazy ricochet.
Sadler serving again. Serve picked up by Bro. Welsh dumping it over and getting the kill to go. 21-13.
Just a good set of circumstances there for Macy, as she's able to tip it over right there in the middle of the net. So again, going to that variety that South Tama has been bringing to the table.
And here's Millie Mathis Henley. Serving, returned by Avery Palmer. And Palmer gets the kill right in the middle. Palmer, probably the tallest body here on the court here, standing a solid 5'11".
Yeah, I'd be hard pressed. I would think that she is. And she's got lengthy arms on her too.
And here's Piper Nelson serving. And she'll come away with an ace. So 21-15. Benton Community starting to find their way back into this set here a little bit. But South Tama, let's see here, got a little bit of an official stoppage. I'm not sure what's quite wrong.
The clock is at 12 seconds right now.
Oh, okay.
Normally it sits at a 1.
Right.
So it must just be an error there.
But we still got the scoreboard up. So 21-15 still the score, and we're going to play on. Piper Nelson's second serve. And a whistle at the net, a carry called again, I think. Excuse me, and that'll be 21-16 now.
Yeah, Benton currently on a little run going on right now. South Tama, of course, has some movability, but they need to start getting these points.
All right, here's Nelson, third serve. Sends it over. South Tama returns it. Ball on the Benton side. Townsley attacking and getting one to drop in the far corner. South Tama got to stay loose. We'll see if they can kind of respond, and that forces a timeout by Coach Rowie. So South Tama with a lead here, still a 4-point lead at 21-17.
Yeah, so just one of those things, you know, our girls have been playing very hard tonight. They look a little fatigued, but, you know, they've been consistent. They've been calm and collected. With the only, you know, bit there at the last bit of set 1, have I seen them, you know, be jittery and tense. So I think this is a good timeout, get our girls to relax and catch their breath and hopefully close this out.
One final push here into the last part of this third set here.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just been a game of runs back and forth, Darvin, and the momentum and the tempos that both of these teams are able to give has been, you know, like you mentioned earlier, Darvin, it's a match.
We are still awaiting the postseason brackets to be released by the IGHSAU. That's to come later this week, so we'll announce that matchup. It's scheduled for October 17. That's a Wednesday, 2 weeks from tomorrow. Out of the timeout, Benton Community to serve, and a kill error there by Paisley Bro. She kind of tried to shove it over, little two-hand shove, goes into the net. Point Benton. Piper Nelson serving again. Right up the middle to Mullen. Bro again from the corner. And just a little too far. Another point for the Bobcats. They have clawed back into this one, and they're now trailing by 2. 21-19 the score.
South Tama's got to find an answer now.
Welsh into the double block. Another point for the Bobcats. Townsley and Palmer on the defense there.
South Tama has to take this momentum away from Benton right now. It's a 1-point deficit. The student section of Benton's starting to get into it now.
And here's Nelson serving again. Bro sends it back over, keeping the point alive. Townsley off the hands of Macy Welsh. It will be called. The high judge called it point for South Tama as he thought it was out of bounds, but the line judge reversed it somehow. It will now be tied 21-21. You could hear that ricochet, though. I think that was the right call.
Yeah.
A tough spot there for South Tama. Huge point by Macy Welsh, though. Out of that return, catching the serve, off her back foot, threads the needle through the double block, and gets a kill to go. 22-21. South Tama leading by 1.
And that was a really good setup. Of course, that went straight up, straight down, but Macy Wells had every kind of bit for it.
Ashley Finch serving here for STC. Dump over by Frakes. Still alive on the Benton side. Michael sends it over. Here's a swing by Mullen. Long out of bounds. 22-22. We are all tied up. Trojans had to make this one interesting.
Of course.
And we are all tied up. We'll see if STC can kind of find themselves here a little bit late and close this one out. They've led pretty much the whole way up until now. Welsh,
big swing.
Attacking. Nobody touches it, and it goes just through 3 defenders out of bounds. Point Benton Community. They lead by 1, 23-22. Timeout.
And this is our first lead change that we've seen in this third set, Darvin. So far, South Tama had a strong, 4-0 lead. They expanded it to an 8-point deficit.
Yeah.
And because of some calls going the way for Benton, the momentum that Benton has been able to bring in these later sets got them now their first lead of the set.
23-22 out of the timeout. It'll be Benton Community to serve. We were right here in set 1, too.
I know. Set 1, we ended up falling 25-22, so this is our win condition right now for South Tama.
And now Brendez serving, the freshman. Return, Macy Welsh. Again, out of bounds to the left side. It looked good from my angle, but it was just too far to the left. Now set point. So credit to Benton Community. They've gotten some errors from South Tama, and they're now at set point with Brendez serving. The kill error into the net, and South Tama lets it go away. A win in set 3 here by Benton Community. A tough one to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just an unfortunate set of circumstances. It's tough when you lose something with that big of a distance. Again, we just had all our players come out to play. The blocking has been good. Of course, we've seen the Frakes Welsh blocking. That was successful. And then Mullen and Cervantes able to get to 2 blocks. But it was really up until, the 8-point run there from Benton. They were just able to find some juice and flip the script.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with set number 4 here from Benton.
be there behind you to pick the pieces up to left. I don't need you now, I'm alone. I can feel my life go by in slow motion. I need to know.
Welcome back live from Benton Community High School. South Tama and the Bobcats from Benton here in WaMaC volleyball action. Benton Community wins set 1 and set 3, both by a score of 25-22. South Tama managed to get in there and get set number 2, 25-19. Had a commanding lead going into like the 20-point mark and just could not hold on and bring it home. And Benton Community rallies in that third set. Some errors from South Tama, I think, attributed to that. Some hitting that went out of bounds a few times. And that brings us to set number 4 here. Benton Community up by 1 set. And it's going to be a kill error as the ball from Gloria Mullen goes out of bounds. So the first point goes to Benton Community, who has Emma Townsley serving now, and she will come away with an ace on her second serve. She goes right to Ashley Finch.
Yeah, it's been a tough one to come back. And again, you know, wins out of your sails. You're down 2 points already, but you got to stay strong. You got to come back from this.
And it's a quick turnaround too between these sets too. You know, the kids really got to refocus and re-energize themselves quickly as they attack goes out of bounds, last touch by Benton Community, so that will give South Tama their first point.
And Mathis Henley is going to come to the bench. In for her is going to be Frakes.
Skyla Beck serving right up the right sideline to Nelson. And Nelson returning it. Finch right there with the return. It was a good dig.
It was.
But it went so hard off of her forearms, it just went out of bounds. It ricocheted hard across the net and out of bounds. Point to the Bobcats. 3-1 the score. 3-1 here in set number 4. Kennedy Donald, the freshman libero, serving. Ball jousting around the net. Point to the Trojans as it finally falls on the Benton Community side.
Yeah, that ball went straight up, and the setter just couldn't quite get out of the way as that ball had no like left or right movement to it.
And now Gloria Mullen, low serve there, good looking serve by Mullen. Returned by the Benton Community Bobcats. Bro sends it back over. Nelson getting up high, poking it over, but it will go out of bounds. Point to the Trojans. 3-3 the score. Tied up here in set 4.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I noticed that Benton Community again tries to do early in the sets is go to that left-hand side, kind of keep us off balance.
And this time the serve from Mullen too low into the net. Service error gives a point to Benton.
So, I mean, South Tama's been able to, you know, close the distance, keep it competitive, and, you know, only down by 1 point, it's still meaningful.
And here's Mabry Sadler serving. Trojans go way out of system to save it. They do get it over to the Benton side, but they have to quickly crash back into position. Sent back over by Benton. Here's Beck setting up an attack from Bro. Tip over at the net. Falls to the South Tama side. Point to the Bobcats.
Again, this is just maybe a little tensity issues. You lost, you know, going big into that third set, so you just got to stay consistent.
Serve from the Bobcats, returned by Mary-Kate Frakes. Donald, the libero, setting up Nelson. Her attack crosses the court to Meek. Back on the Benton side now. Meek pops it up into the air. Paisley Bro tips it over. High near the middle of the net. Here's an attack from Frakes. Ball rattles around, and it's good for a point. Mary-Kate Frakes with the kill.
Fantastic job serving this time to South Tama's right-hand side. Again, you can just play it along that court any way you like it. Anybody's got a good, strong arm.
Jeanette Cervantes stepping up to serve here for STC. Little sidewinder shot right up the middle. Returned by the back line of Benton Community. Paisley Bro from the left corner, attacking, cross court, picked up. And now Cervantes setting up. Bro. Lighter shot this time. Piper Nelson swinging, picked up by Cervantes in the back corner. Here's Townsley for Palmer. And now Welsh tips it over. Donald to Nelson. Nelson two hands it over to Mullen. Big swing by Macy Welsh into the block and falls for a point. 5-5 the score. Trojans doing a good job at least keeping pace here, and that's, I think, the biggest thing, not letting that adrenaline dump from set 3 just totally get them off whack.
Absolutely.
And now the ball on the South Tama side. Cervantes tipping it up in the air, and a point will come from Paisley Bro. Cervantes dove to the ground, kind of threw a fist up into the air, and it popped the ball up. Bro able to capitalize and get the point. 6-5. A 1-point lead here for South Tama.
First lead change early for South Tama.
Nelson trying to change directions, but the curveball kind of got away from her there, and it goes into the net. Kill error. 7-5 the score. 7-5. South Tama leading by 2. Cervantes at the line. And now here's Piper Nelson threading the double block. Trojans diving all over the place, but it goes down. Finally, a point for Benton Community.
That was a good dive there by Beck, and of course, a quick reaction strong arm by Frakes. Just no luck on our side, able to get that reaction shot over the net.
And Benton Community, you know, getting South Tama out of position like that, attacking just a little bit harder. Another point there for Benton Community. 7-7 as they tie things up.
So again, keeping it competitive.
Piper Nelson serving now. Right down the middle to Mullen. Bro has to go out of bounds to save it. Trojans get it back to the Benton side. Here's Townsley serving. Not serving, but returning, I should say. South Tama finally passes it over to the Benton side. Townsley again, this time floating it over the double block. And now Meek to Bro, who swings and throws it into the middle. Back onto the South Tama side. Beck to Frakes. Frakes at the middle. Rolls on the net. Finally drops for a point for the Trojans. 8-7 the score here.
That was
set 4 action.
That was a good change of direction by Frakes as she's going to come to the bench. Mathis Henley out for her. That was a good change of just motion, getting it to where there was no defenders on Benton's side.
8-7, a 1-point lead here for South Tama. Millie Mathis Henley, the senior, serving for STC. Emma Townsley into a block again. Welsh and Beck on the defense. Mathis Henley dives in, saves it, free balls it over to the Benton side. Townsley, one-hander, saved by Mathis Henley, but she's there. Townsley again, kind of just hanging around that right corner and gets the shot to go that time on the third attempt.
Yeah, I mean, so far the tension of runs has been pretty even.
And again, this will be Olivia Brendez. She comes away with an ace on her first swing. Now a 1-point lead. 9-8. Brendez again. This time it goes out of bounds, service error. Ties it back up at 9-9.
So 5 ties so far, so still South Tama keeping this competitive. Still a little positive. I can see they look exhausted coming out of that third set, but you know, if we can get our rotations in and breaks, it'll be fine.
Ashley Finch serving. Setting up Townsley, who returns it from the right corner. A hard swing into the back line. Ricochets hard off the forearms of Natalie Meek and out of bounds. Point to the Bobcats. They lead 10-9 now here in set 4. And that will send Laura Jungi back to serve for Benton. Jungi served to the back line. Mathis Henley pops it up. Mullen, the return. A dugout by Donald. A whistle. And will be a double tap called against Benton Community. Trojans get the point, and they tie it back up at 10.
even then still, that was a strong swing from Benton Community. Meek able to get that dive in, even though it didn't quite matter, but she was ready for it.
Here's Macy Wells serving. Kelly trying to elevate and get a shot off from the right side.
That's going to go down as a kill error for Kelly. So again, some rotations and substitutions coming in for Benton Community.
Macy Wells checks out for Natalie Meek. And the Bobcats lead 11-10 now after the kill error. Emma Townsley setting up to serve, straight up the middle. It was kind of a knuckleball sort of thing. It floated over the net and just dropped straight down, like a sinker almost.
Yeah. Of course, baseball playoffs are starting today, so good analogy.
Yeah. The hunt for Red October.
That's right.
Jeanette Cervantes returning the serve. Piper Nelson swinging hard into the corner. Good effort there by Natalie Meek. Goes out of bounds to save it, but just not quite enough, and it goes out of bounds finally.
So Benton Community kind of creating space now. The momentum, as I can kind of feel it in the gym, is going for Benton. So South Tama's got to stop it here in a low serve.
Emma Townsley serving, finally returned over by Finch. Callan Kuiper one-hands it over to the South Tama side. Mullen rear and back, throwing one over. Donald picks it up. A little carousel tip over there by Piper Nelson, and she floats one over, gets it for a point. 14-10 here now. Like you said, Hunter, little bit of space, little bit of breathing room for Benton Community. And this might be the point where South Tama, it's going to be up to them to determine when they're going to be mentally beat in this match.
Yeah.
But this could be a dangerous spot for that to happen, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. Benton's going on, I believe, a 3-point run right now. Just mentally, they got to stay up there, and it's been difficult.
15-10, the lead for Benton Community. Gloria Mullen on the service return, attacking into the net. And that'll be a timeout called by South Tama as they trail by 6 midway into this fourth set. I'd like to say thank you to our broadcast sponsors. They include Berkwood Village of Tama Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, SNS Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, excuse me, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Coverings, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark West and Hoyer Law Office, Assured Partners Insurance, Appraisal and Realty Services, Sharn Webbers, and TFD Photo and Film. All of our broadcasts also made possible by the Charlie Townsley Memorial.
Yeah, just unfortunate set of circumstances South Tama kind of finds themselves in. Just mentally, they have to stay consistent and stay positive. That's what's got them the second set, and that's kind of what gave them the big lead in the third set. But since that huge deficit swing and point rally by Benton's just been plaguing South Tama.
And a quick point after, I think, an ace there on that serve right out of that timeout. And South Tama just looking a little,
they're looking
a little on their back heel, little bewildered at the moment. Now there's a dump over by Piper Nelson after that second serve by Emma Townsley. 18-10 now.
Yeah, the exhaustion setting in from South Tama. They're not as quick.
Townsley serving once more. Cervantes dumps it over on the Benton side. Here's Nelson attacking again. This time finds the middle of the court. Finch and Meek collapse in, but it's not quite quick enough.
Oh,
19-10 the score here.
Oh, interesting change of direction there from back.
Returned over by Kuiper. Here's Mullen swinging from the left corner, and Mullen connects on a shot.
Okay, hopefully this 9-point deficit starts changing for South Tama. They got to stay positive. They got to be quick, and they got to be calm and consistent. That's what's gotten them that second set. Hopefully it gives them back a rally.
And here's Beck serving for STC. They trail 19-11. And here's Donald popping it up into the air. Kennedy Lohr getting her first action here tonight. Saving it, sending it back over to the South Tama side. And a point for South Tama. Gloria Mullen caps one off from the left corner.
Again, hopefully catching the miscommunication and out of system that Benton Community has. We've been taking advantage. Got 2 kills from Mullen right there in that set. So far, so good.
And let's see here, point for South Tama.
That's going to be called out of bounds for South Tama.
And the coach for Benton Community not liking the decision there, kind of talking with the low official. And now the officials are going to talk it over before they finish off this point.
And that's kind of unfortunate because South Tama kind of had a 2-point run going. Of course, 3 points now if you kind of consider this point for ours. But if this call gets reversed, that's just going to be difficult for South Tama to come back from.
And we'll see here, the official's done talking, and now he's going back to the coach.
Still talking it over. I mean, South Tama did go up for the block. It went past the block, and just because of our vantage point, I didn't see if we touched the dig or not.
Okay, we're staying with South Tama, stays with the point. 19-13, the Trojans trail by 6, and Skylar Beck serving now for STC. And Piper Nelson just shuts it down from that right corner. You could tell that she was a little frustrated in that third set, looking strong here, and has not really lost a step off of that attack in the fourth set here. And she gets a emphatic point, pushing the Bobcats to 20. 20-13, they lead. Gloria Mullen on the return, crossing it up into the corner. And a point that time for Emma Townsley. Townsley from the back corner. I think maybe she was a little surprised she kind of got that point, but
yeah.
And now Coach Rowley's going to call a timeout. Of course, the Townsley name might be familiar to some in the South Tama area. That's the daughter of former South Tama Middle School principal Eric Townsley. Saw him and his wife coming in earlier today, so we kind of touch base with them a little bit as they each time we come to the Benton side. Emma has been playing, she's been on the varsity roster for the volleyball and basketball teams the last few years, and so been good to see them in this area. So shout out to the Townsleys. Reminder, we'll be live on Friday for Football Friday. South Tama hosting Fairfield in week 7 of the Iowa high school football season. Last home game for the Trojans, so if you're in the area, make sure to get out, cheer on South Tama. It's going to feel like fall, I think, finally this Friday.
Yes.
It's going to be a little chilly out. I don't think it's going to be rainy, so it should be just a really seasonable, nice night to maybe get a blanket, get the hot chocolate machine going out a little bit at Trojan Field. So good opportunity to come out and support the football team. I think on paper the most winnable game left on the schedule on paper yet. So we'll see how STC can respond. Here's out of that timeout. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
We just saw a ball kind of go to 2 different out of bounds areas and still be saved by the Benton side. A one-handed save sends it back over to South Tama. The ball's still alive. Nice kind of wild volley here, and it finally gets finished off by a kill from Piper Nelson along the right sideline, and they get to 22-13. They've just been off to the races with this set 4.
Yeah, they created that space early, and they created it now.
And into the game now is number 1, junior Tatum Schroeder.
So Schroeder, what they did talk about earlier in before the match is that she's been battling cancer, had a couple bone marrow transplants that have been successful.
And Schroeder just scoring a point there from the back corner. Her teammates kind of collapse around her, a lot of smiles. The Bobcats feeling good here as they're kind of nearing set point, game point, with Schroeder at the line to serve. And Schroeder comes away with an ace. And South Tama just kind of dissolving here in the fourth set. And Gloria Mullen scoring from the right corner, stopping the run by Benton Community. Paisley Bro checks in for Ashley Finch, and it's now match point, 24-14. The score here with Gloria Mullen serving for STC. Townsley gets it to Kuiper. Bro free balls it over, and Bro will score the point. 24-15 now, a 9-point lead for Benton Community as they can close this thing out with one more point. Gloria Mullen serving right down the pipe, and an emphatic 90-mile-an-hour kill from Piper Nelson seals it for the Benton Community Bobcats. 25-15, the final in set number 4. The Trojans lose 3-1 against the Benton Community Bobcats on senior night. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with a quick wrap-up here from Benton Community High School. Thanks for being with us here on Trojan Country.
When you wake up in the evening, and I've left an empty space, will you remember how you're feeling? 'Cause I felt like that for days.
Welcome back live from Benton Community High School. South Tama falling in 4 sets here tonight in their final WaMaC duel of the season. Trojans win set 2, 25-19 was the score there, but the Bobcats came out on top in set 1, 25-22. Set 3, 25-22 again, and in the final set, 25-15. A nice moment towards the end of the 4th set. Tatum Schroeder, a junior from Benton Community, has been battling cancer this in recent times here. Gets out onto the court and scores a kill and an ace in the final couple of points in the 4th set on senior night, no less. She is a junior, though. But a really nice moment. The Benton crowd really supporting her, and both the student sections chanting for her as she comes in. So some good sportsmanship there by the STC students. And South Tama will go into their conference tournament next Thursday down a little bit. You know, off of some straight losses. They lose. They might have won one on Saturday that didn't get recorded on Varsity Bound. I don't know. But if they might have gotten a win there. But other than that, they take 3 losses over at Union on Saturday, a 3-1 loss at Benton, and then before that, they had their home tournament, which was a 2-2, 2 wins, 2 losses, and then losses to AGWSR, losses to and a loss to Grinnell before that. So just kind of a tough string of action down the stretch here, and they will have their conference tournament to try and get them ready for their postseason match. We don't yet know what team South Tama is going to face. That's supposed to be announced later in the week, and so kind of stay tuned to the Girls Athletic Union's website. They're going to have those posted. I don't know what day, but they just said later in this week sometime, and we'll update our information on Trojan Country. So make sure to follow us on Facebook. That's where we kind of put up all of our broadcast information and updates and so forth. So if you haven't followed us on Facebook, make sure to find us STC Trojan Country there. And I'll turn it over to Hunter White here with some thoughts on this matchup as we wrap things up here in Benton.
Boy, what a difficult one for South Tama on that one. Just coming back from a strong set 2 and just a big lead at one point, an 8-point deficit from set 3 that they were, in the lead of, and Benton Community again just was able to stay consistent and apply that pressure and find the faults where South Tama was. Of course, they fed a lot to Piper Nelson and Emma Townsley, who have been strong on the kills again tonight. I would assume, be the kills leader on that angle. But, strong showing statistically from our South Tama Trojan girls. So for kills, Bro had 7, Frakes 3, Mullen with 11, Cervantes with 3, and Welsh with 6. So very unofficial stats. Of course, maybe I didn't catch as much as I probably should have, but still high numbers when I'm being very selective with the type of stats and very unofficial. But for blocking, our front set of girls that we had, Frakes, Beck, Cervantes, and Welsh, able to stop a lot of what Nelson and Townsley was dishing out. So some successful blocks. Frakes has 3. Mullen has 2. Cervantes has 5, and Welsh has 4. Serving-wise, aces were strongly in favor of Benton Community. They had 8 aces on the night.
Yeah, South Tama really didn't have maybe 1 or 2 aces, if I remember right.
We had 3 aces.
All right, yeah.
Beck had 1 early, and then Mullen was able to pick up the other 2. So again, serving strong for Benton. And then the digging has been phenomenal from all our girls tonight. Most of them getting over 5, with the highlights being Beck and Mullen with 8, Frakes with 4. I got Cervantes for 2, Welsh for 4, Finch with 6, and Meek with 5.
Wow.
So the digging side of things, and I was only counting successful digs. I was not counting, digs that were attempted and out of bounds, or attempted and didn't get scored, it didn't get successfully turned over. So these are like successful digs that was able to get the ball sent back over to either score the kill or continue the volley. So strong showing digging-wise, able to stop, again, the momentum that Nelson and Townsley had with, their kills leaders for Benton Community. So,
absolutely. I'm just trying to pull up here the results from South Tama's cross-country meet. We can kind of maybe try and talk about that a little bit before we sign off. And if it takes me too long, we'll just call it a night here. So that's just kind of the flexibility that you love to have on your on a live stream broadcast here.
Absolutely.
But make sure to keep in touch with South Tama's cross-country team this season. The boys varsity making their way just outside of the top 10. I just saw an update today in the Iowa High School rankings. The Trojans making it up to number 11 on their, let's see here, on the boys Class 3A rankings. And that's kind of where I was talking to Coach Davis and Coach Tynisma on, there we go. Okay, yep, there's South Tama's results. On, let's see, Thursday of last week after the homecoming parade, and they were really hoping the South Tama Trojans could kind of find themselves into around the top 10 placing, because when the state qualifying meet locations kind of get determined, the governing body that does those like to not put too many top 10 teams in one location, to try and spread that out a little bit regardless of, distance and such. And so that's kind of where they're hoping to be. The top 3 teams at each district qualifying meet do get to go on to the state meet. South Tama missed it just by a couple of seconds last year. They were the 4th team out of their group last year in their district qualifying meet. So South Tama could come in as the 2nd seeded team, ranked near that top 10. That would be a really beneficial spot for them to be at, and maybe hopefully take a little pressure off that team. Of course, it's going to be a big pressure moment regardless of where they come in seeded. But the Trojans kind of building themselves into a decent spot here, heading down the stretch of this Iowa high school season. So make sure they're going to next be in action next Thursday. They have a little bit of a hiatus. They go to Montezuma on Thursday. Have a kind of a lower ranked matchup over there against a lot of 1A teams. And so that'll be their last regular season meet. And then the following Thursday after that will be their conference meet over in Marion. And then the district qualifying meet. We don't yet know where STC is going to head for that one. It could be Solon, could be Pella, could be Winterset. That information, I think that could come out maybe later this week, maybe next week could be when we find that information out. And that will be some interesting stuff to see when it does arrive. So remember, tune in on Friday. We're going to have Football Friday. South Tama taking on Fairfield. Broadcast start is 6 p.m. So we're moved up. We're slid up a half hour because there's no Frosh game. Kickoff of the varsity game, 7 p.m. Tune in. We'll have a live video coverage for you as usual from home. And then next week, we will have no volleyball broadcast. We'll have football live from Benton Community. We'll be right back here next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday, for South Tama and Benton. And then the Trojans wrap up on the road at Solon in 3 weeks, about 3 weeks. So any final thoughts before we sign off, Hunter?
Absolutely. Looking forward to the cross-country boys. I know Tommy and all those boys have been just running strong. So looking forward, hopefully get that state run going, and hopefully, some success going. But volleyball-wise, girls lost a tough one tonight, and it kind of showed in their determination in that 2nd set. They were able to push it to a 4th set, but they should have, the ability to rest up. Of course, Benton has to play that tournament on Saturday.
Yep, they go to CPU.
Yep, and just, it's just one of those things where you got to bounce back from. And boys got a very winnable, I say knocking on the desk, football match against Fairfield at home in beautiful weather. So if you can't listen to us, or you should be out there and you should be supporting the boys there. So.
All right, we're going to sign off. Have a great night, everybody. Good night, and go Trojans.